Hafiz TV, unique every day.
Of our food, they take care of our transportation. So no one hands over money to you and say, President, take this money, go to Upper West region, go to Northern region, go to Bono East region and organize a program. They rather say, President, on the 16th we do monthly lecture series. We would like to partner with Gmsa. Now organize it for us. We do the organization, everything. So when you look at most of our programs, it's Gmsa in collaboration with the National Mosque Foundation. And that is how we were able to do a lot of programs. So in fact, we have nothing, we have no money. Weak documentation. In fact, I have former presidents here, national presidents, who will tell you that we have very weak documentation at the national level. We actually don't have a proper documentation of our members. And that is a very big challenge for us. At the national level, I think everything should be run like an office. But then we run it like a union. I come today, I go, someone comes, go, there is no documentation. And it's very bad. And one might ask, okay, President, you are telling us there's no documentation. What are you doing? I can do very little without your collaboration. I need your collaboration. I remember when we came into office, some of the regional presidents are here and the institutional. We issued a Google form to get to know the challenges each institution faces so that when we meet at the highest level of discussion, we can table it out. And I can tell you, after 6 months, only 31 institutions and regions together submitted their problems. And I ask myself sometimes, is it that the region or the institutions don't understand what the national office stands for? Even a recent one, we issued a communique to all regions to select people that help them in their region so that we can honor them at our handing over. And I can tell you that we only, out of the 16 regions, we only have 6 regions that submitted nominations. And this is nothing. Just write someone's name and tell us that this is what the person does for us at our region, and we would like you to acknowledge their hard work. And out of the 16 regions, only 6 regions were able to submit their nominations. So there is no collaboration between us. The institutions, they do what they feel like. The regionals, they do what they feel like. Not all of them do. So there is a problem there. Now, the last one is limited logistics. In fact, due to we not taking fees, due to we not writing letters, we have very, very limited resources. Whatever we do, we try our best to mobilize and do it. There are times I tell my national executives, see, we have a program here, and what I'm seeing is that our donors, let me say Hudai for instance, when we are going to do the program, they give you what is best for them. They can't take charge of the program. They can tell you, okay, President, I'll give you we will give you food, or President, we will give you 5,000 to support for food. But then we can't take charge of everything. And they are right. In fact, we should even have a stronger delegation who has to take care of our funding than the externals. I remember there was a time, they are here, in fact, Imam Ali is here, and Mr. Orhun, who is the educational coordinator, is also here. There was a time I went to director and we were talking. The director told me, tell me, we are doing so much, but then, can't you get your alumni to support moving forward? I told him, yes, they do support, they used to support. But then it got to a time, there was a donor fatigue. Repeatedly, Gmsa is doing a program, there is no impact on that program. Oh, you come, you need money, 10,000, they give you, you go. Next week you come, you need 10,000, they give you, you go. There is no impact. They don't see the real value of what you are doing. So now the alumni or our stakeholders are getting tired. So what can we do to let them feel what we are doing? So that is when we, the Gen Zs or the youth, come in. Now we are a new generation of leaders. And becoming a new generation of leaders, what it means is that we have to do things different and nicely. So this is where we all have to look at what is important and what we can do to uplift the image of Gmsa. So for me, where we are today is a very real discussion we should have on the way forward. We are actually lost. I remember I was expecting Chief Andani to be here, who said he was coming. I remember when I became the president, we visited him in his office, and I mentioned to him that Gmsa has been 50 years and I feel no impact. And he said, Astaghfirullah. President, if you say there is no impact, we are impact of Gmsa. We are where we are because of Gmsa. Gmsa has trained us when we were in school. We used to go for camps, we used to go for programs, and that is what enhanced our leadership skills. So for that one, there is impact in Gmsa. But then what I think you should be saying is that it's been 50 years, and beyond the 50 years, where are we heading to? And that is when I accepted that, yes, truly, there is impact in Gmsa. Gmsa has trained so many people. And when you meet them personally, they do tell you. I remember last month, I did meet Honorable Rashid Pelpo, and he told me that Gmsa has really shaped two things of his public speaking and public engagement. That he learned it when he was in Cape Coast University. He was the Gmsa president. He did engage with a lot of people. He did have the voice to speak for Gmsa. And that was when he actually learned these skills. So in fact, we can all agree that Gmsa in one way or the other has impacted on our lives in leadership. And I'll move to the next slide, which is the honest truth. So the honest truth, I'll invite Dr. Abdurrahman Al-Hassan to continue with this slide for us. He's just going to talk on one slide, then we move to the next. Doc, thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. MashaAllah. Mr. Chairman and my president and all my elders seated here, I'm happy to be with you today to discuss what we love doing most, the affairs of Gmsa. The honest truth, it's quite sad that, like the president said, after 50 years plus of our activism, Gmsa has little to trumpet. Of course, there are a few people we can look up to and say, yes, these are people who are products of Gmsa, like Chief Andani and co. But is that enough? Now, the impact of these people, we can point to them and say, Alhamdulillah, yes, these are people who are making Gmsa proud. But what are we showing as an institution when it comes to Gmsa? 50 years and we're still where we are. The question I ask is that do we have intentional growth or mentorship? We have leaders who come and go through the ranks of Gmsa and they just maneuver their way through to the end. If they are lucky and the person is a great leader, he still needs some guy mentorship throughout. If not, he battles his way through and maybe he may be lucky to pull a few things together. Then we continue the vicious cycle. There is no proper planning and mentorship in the growth of Gmsa. Because 50 years from now, we shall be having a structured leadership where we can look through and say, yes, these people were once Gmsa leaders over here, and we have seen their growth all the way to where they are, and the impact is flowing down to those who are currently practicing as Gmsa executives. We should also talk about what we call long-term development plan. Now, Mr. President comes today, he has his plan of his own. Abdurrahman was there yesterday, he had a plan of his own. What is the long-term development plan of Gmsa that we are all supposed to ensure that we mobilize resources and then also the wherewithal to be able to make sure that we are able to achieve some of these things. I must commend our partners who die, and may Allah reward them abundantly at Takbir. Who have been very, very supportive of Gmsa. I remember when I was president and I was just chatting with Brother Habib, who was also before me. He was some two terms before me. He was the General Secretary of Gmsa. And we were just lamenting on some of the struggles that Gmsa had been through. I was running Gmsa at a point in my boots because that was my office. So I ran and everything in my car, everything is in my booth. And then alhamdulillah, we got support to get an office somewhere around Kanda, whilst there was still efforts in place to get an office at the National Mosque here, as Hudai had been very supportive of Gmsa throughout till now. And alhamdulillah, whilst we were moving out of office, the office was given to Gmsa, and that has saved us from some form of shame, if I may put it, and giving us some bit of prestige as Gmsa, because when they ask, where's your office, you point to the National Mosque. And we thank Hudai very much for this partnership and support and giving us some upliftment in terms of our status as Gmsa. And alhamdulillah, that is one thing that I was much worried about, but we can still do better. We don't really have credibility. Now, we have so many social media platforms. How many of these platforms are verified platforms? How many of them are verified? Last week, another former executive of mine, he sent me a message. A former Gmsa executive had shared a Gmsa post on his platform. The person who shared the post is verified on Facebook. Gmsa is not verified. How old are we? 50 years plus. And we don't even have a credible social media handle that if one is to make reference to, we are sure that whatever is coming from this is something that is something that we can really look up to and succeed. Where are our alumni? We will have a functioning alumni. Everybody is eager to serve in Gmsa and see Gmsa as a platform to propel him or herself to greatness, but doesn't see ourselves as part of a team that should help Gmsa grow beyond my time as an executive. So after I complete as a Gmsa executive, after I complete as a student in Gmsa, who has contributed to the growth of Gmsa in my institution, in my region, and also nationally, what do? I bow out, get into the real world where I struggle to make it, probably through no other support, and then fortunately I may get my breakthrough. Then that is it. I form my own niche, and that's where I belong. Some also have been given some platforms by Gmsa, because Gmsa, through our collaboration with Hudai, Turkish Embassy, and others, have been able to support some students who go to Turkey to pursue certain programs. But do we see them come back to support Gmsa? They go and then form alliances with NGOs and form their own organizations, and then also come and use the same resources of Gmsa, and then just make a mockery of us. So where lies our sincerity as an ummah? Where lies the sincerity to see that we really want to grow and think about yesterday's generation? As someone thought about you today, for you to get that benefit that you were able to achieve and grow as an individual, what are you also doing for yourself? So the honest truth, if you ask me, is our sincerity. Why do we even assume positions of Gmsa? Why do we wear the Gmsa identity as we are on campus? Is it because of selfish gains or not? Where are we heading to from today? So the honest truth is about sincerity. It's about being honest with ourselves. It's about trying to avoid being selfish and being selfless in serving wherever we find ourselves. And once you are out of the institution of Gmsa, now this is where maybe we have also failed as former executives, because we have not really created a particular platform where we can also now transit into, and as alumni, we can also hold on the fort and continue to help the growth of Gmsa. So I challenge myself and all the executives seated here. I can see Erbad over here. I can see my former president, Tapkoha. I can see Abdul Basit, also my former president as well. I can see so many others seated over here. We shouldn't leave this room without having formed the birth of a very vibrant alumni group that will continue to hold the fort of Gmsa henceforth, so that whenever we have any issues that has to do with financing, we will not always be going to the same sources whatsoever. We'll have a group, and to say, maybe Lashado will say, every year, I commit to give Gmsa 10,000 Ghana cedis. That is only me for Lashado. Doctor will say, okay, I'll give Gmsa 15,000 Ghana cedis. That is my plan for the year. Another person will say, I'll give Gmsa for the whole year 100,000 Ghana cedis. That's the person's plan as seed money for Gmsa's growth. So once we have people who commit to this particular seed funding of Gmsa, then we try to form what we call a management body to help us manage that fund very well, so that we can be able to have the younger ones have resources to run Gmsa without difficulty. So that next 15 years, if we are to celebrate Gmsa at almost 40 years, thereabouts, we would also be seeing our buildings high-rising, like we see the SU building along the road. So this is what I want us to challenge ourselves as leaders of Gmsa, and know that the honest truth is that we are not there yet, but we are most certainly closer than we were yesterday. And I challenge myself and challenge all of you that don't let this be the end of our everyday meet and talk, meet and talk, meet and talk. It's meet, talk, and action. Can we say it again? Meet, talk, and inshallah. And our lives are witness about whatever we are discussing today. We are being honest with ourselves. No time for blame games. It's time for action. We always meet, and we should be having these meetings periodically. And I also challenge those who will take over from this current regime that this shouldn't end here. We had in the past Gmsa Youth Summits, then another time, another summit, then it goes to sleep. Then we come back after so many years again to revive these problems. That's not the way to go. Consistency will take us to where we intend to go. So, President, I think today it's not a day for me to lament a lot, but it's just to try and create the right environment for us all to make bold decisions and commit to the growth of Gmsa. So I'll pause here and hand over the mic to our president. And may Allah guide you and bless you for the good work that you have done and all your team as well. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you so much, Dr. Abdurrahman, for the honest truth. Doc has told us his mind, but then what we have to look at now, we have 2 slides to go. What we have to look at now is the purpose of this forum. Now, we've spoken about where we are today, and we've spoken about the honest truth. Now, why are we here as individuals, as leaders, as stakeholders? Why are we seated? I will invite the Vice President of the National Office to give us the objectives of this forum. Thank you so much, Mr. Abdulhakim Abdulrazak.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي أما بعد. Alhamdulillah, today happens to be the 10th day of Jumada al-Awwal, 1447 years after Hijrah, as well as the first day of November 2025 on the Gregorian calendar. I'm here to present on the purpose of we gathering here. Our president and then the former president actually gave us the insight on the current state of Gmsa and where we find ourselves and where we wish to see ourselves as Gmsa in the near future. We are here to discuss 1 or 2 things, that is to shape our Gmsa into the phase that we want to see Gmsa in the near or in the coming days. And then we are having 5 points we've listed as the purpose of this gathering. It is good when we find ourselves in an institution, we should look at how others are striving and then others are getting better, for us to also have a look at what they are doing, to copy their style so that it can fit, or if it fits in our system, then we can use it to see ourselves in a better state. There is one thing that we can all attest to the fact, which is if you've attended a senior high school, you will tell me that if a senior high school is to be good, then all students are not denied access to having a say in the institutional issues. And that is where we want to see Gmsa now. We want to see how Gmsa can reconnect itself with the past and then current executives. There shouldn't be a gap that is bridging between, or there shouldn't be a gap between we, the current executives, and then the former executives. They are those that were able to champion the cause of Gmsa when we were nowhere to be found. And today we find ourselves in the leadership positions. Wherever you find yourself, you should be able to bring back the people that were there before you. They might have visions that they built their Gmsa or their branch association with, then when you put what they have in mind, aligning it with the current state of your association, you will be able to find the balance. Then that one will help you in moving, because in any case, any policy that will be brought on board for Gmsa, it should be something that is flexible, okay? So that today and tomorrow, what you are bringing can be very good for the environment. But in the near future, what you brought yesterday will be quite not flexible in that environment. So when the policy itself is giving the space for a massage, is giving the space for that flexible movement, then the current executives will be able to have themselves finding a way out in that policy that we find ourselves. This is to come to the second point, which is the review of the state of the association. Then we identify the key gaps. Definitely, even how we used to elect our executives in the past might not be okay for we to do it the same way this time around. For example, there are institutions that previously, if you are going for a 4-year study, you only become an executive when you are in 3rd year. But subsequently, it started to have a challenge, because people will be very, very, very good right from their 1st year with their experiences in their previous institutions. But then because we've given ourselves that limit, that you should get to 3rd year before you can become a Gmsa executive in any office that you find yourself, you will see us in a way wasting some of the resources that we were having when they were in 2nd year. So if these policies and these guides are flexible, then we can have a way to make someone who is in 2nd year, who is rightly in that space to become the leader of the association, to also fit in that space. This will help us to be moving as an association which is not rigid, but then which is flexible. Because as we are moving today and tomorrow, there are new innovations and new technological ideas that we need to fit it into our system of the association we find ourselves called Gmsa. Now the third point is we need to discuss the practical solutions for financial and operational sustainability. Definitely, we can't say Gmsa was established at the first day with very huge sum of money in the accounts of Gmsa. When we are starting an organization, we may overlook the finances of the organization. Then we look at how the people that are organizing it can put in their energy to make it stand as we are seeing it today. But where we find ourselves today, if Gmsa is not being able to finance almost 60% of its own programs internally, then there is a problem. Because in most cases, when you go out for sponsorships, they come with their own rules and regulations. We have various institutional Gmsas and regional branches that go in to organize a seminar, organize a workshop. In mind, they are having the right sources or the right personnel to come and then educate the student that they are bringing on board. But because Gmsa cannot fund a 5,000 cities program at the regional level or at the institutional level, you would dwell on other organizations, other NGOs to sponsor the program. And when you are going for them to sponsor, they give you what they want. They tell you that then you need to make this person who is coming from our team to be the guest speaker, to be the personnel to train your people on the issue that you are seeing it as a problem. And you are identifying a rightful person to solve the problem. But because you are crippled with the issues of finances, you will be open to receive anyone as the resource personnel for the orientation or for the workshop that you are having for your people. And this is a very huge problem to us. We will end up having the workshop fully sponsored, but then the idea that you wanted to have, and then the feedback you are wanting for your people, because you didn't have the right full resource personnel to tackle that, you wouldn't achieve any purpose from what you are doing. The next point is Gmsa should foster unity and shared ownership. The Gmsa that we find ourselves today, if we go back to the history, how it was being formed, that is where you will realize that all our sectarianism that we have at the back of our mind and all our ethnicity that we are having still in our hearts shouldn't be brought in the system of Gmsa. And Gmsa has been fighting this way back in the past 50 years. I remember we were in this same room where our Sheikh Niyama gave a lecture on the history of Gmsa when Gmsa was celebrating the 50th anniversary. He gave us a very detailed information on how the issues of sects wanted to break Gmsa at the initial stages of Gmsa, and how they were able to do something that they termed as the Gmsa coup d'etat, that they did. Then they safeguarded Gmsa from the issues of sects, and then they brought all of us together under one umbrella. But today, if you go back to our institutions, our regional executives, our regional secretariat, people are still finding their way to insert the issues of sectarianism and then ethnicity in Gmsa. And this shouldn't be entertained. We shouldn't just come here, listen, and then go back and continue with that thing. The last one is this gathering that we are having for ourselves shouldn't just be a meeting. This should be a reawakening to all the issues that Gmsa is facing. The current crop of national executives will leave our office latest by January 2026. When they leave office, we don't expect their ideas, their dreams should be shattered from Gmsa. There should be a system that will be able to make them continue with this vision that we are all having for Gmsa. And there is an article in our Gmsa constitution that gives room for permanent executive structure of the national Gmsa. And this one wouldn't be just anyone who is joining that national permanent executives. These are people that we are choosing across the region, across the institutions, and across national executive body to be permanent in office for a period of time that will help the 2-year administration that will come. The permanent executive will have the policy of Gmsa being instituted in all the policies that these next administrations will be bringing on.
Thank you so much. Okay, I think now we are going to look at the way forward and then call to action. So now we will give the opportunity to our guests and honored members here, inshallah, to add their voices. Then we pick it up here, and as usual, like our constitution says, we are going to put together every suggestion here. When we go to Congress, we pass and adopt. Thank you so much. I will hand over the mic to the MC. But then the last slide says, together, let's rebel. Like Allah Ta'ala says in Quran, indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. So let's change what is in ourselves. Thank you so much. Barakallahu fikum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
So as we move to the call to action, I would invite our invited guests to share with us the way forward. And it's not going to be in any order of hierarchy. I would mention names, and each person would speak within 5 minutes for us to be able to accommodate various opinions and suggestions, so we can adopt that as the way forward. So I would start with Professor Abdul Rahman. Prof, please, we humbly invite you. But I would mention the rest of the names so you know whoever speaks, you would be next. We would have Madam Ganiyatu Tiamiyu from the Ghana Association of Muslim Professionals. Thank you, Ma. We'll have next Alhaji Ibrahim Hamid, and then I'll give the next order after the first set. Thank you.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. We sat here, we listened to the president and his team diagnose what they believe is a problem of Gmsa currently. And I dare say is a problem of the Muslim community in Ghana. We are loosely connected, not tightly linked, and we are not able to mobilize ourselves for any effective delivery of programs that benefit us and that can move us forward. A lot of the symptoms that Gmsa has, which they enumerated, if you look at any organization in our community, you would find the same symptoms there. The center not holding together, the weak linkages and lack of commitment, weak financing, etc. So we have an organization like Gmsa, and we're just simply marking time. Year in, year out, we really don't see what progress we are making and in which direction we are making progress. The first thing I want to underscore is the fact that these problems that we have so cleverly identified are not problems that we can solve in 1 day or 2 days. If we really want to change the face of Gmsa, if we really want to change Gmsa, we must agree and accept that we have to have a program of action which itself must last quite a number of years, probably 10 years, could be 20 years. If we can have that program of action and stick to that program of action with measurable outcomes, year in, year out, we see what progress that we're making step after step. First of all, that clarity of vision as to where we want to be. How do we want to see Gmsa 20 years from now? An organization that is respected nationally, whose voice in national discourse is respected, an organization that is able to take care of its members. By taking care of its members, I mean students graduate from our universities, Gmsa and Muslim students, and they can say that Gmsa has a place for me. Gmsa is doing something that I can plug into. Gmsa has businesses, enterprises, organizations that can employ me. We are Muslims, and we know that once we identify a good cause, the purity of our intention should lead us to committing to that cause. If that is not happening, we must have a plan B. And the plan B for humans has always been the case that whenever we can anticipate a certain reward, we commit to the action. If I can anticipate that committing to Gmsa will yield for me some reward, some benefit, then I'm likely to commit. So number one is agreeing that we need time to be able to fix this problem. And number two is clearly understanding and defining where we want to be. Once we clearly understand and define where we want to be, then it should be very clear for us to also identify what structures we need in place in order to get us to the destination that we want to be, which might call for some restructuring of the management of Gmsa. I don't have a single answer for what the structure of Gmsa management should look like, but if in our deliberation we are able to clearly state that this is where we want to be, and this is how we're going to get there, the answer as to which structure we should have presently that should lead us there, that answer will become very clear. I have a few suggestions. In the speech of the president, he said, our programs are not making any impact. And that is probably step number one for Gmsa National down to Gmsa Regional to begin to focus on. That when we set out to do a program, there must be very clear, measurable outcome for such program. so that at the end of the program, we can evaluate and ask whether we are actually achieving the outcome that we have set out to achieve with that program. This is very important. If you achieve that, you can mark that as something you've been able to accomplish. We were here, now we are here. And therefore, a few suggestions, because the time is inadequate, I'll move very quickly through those suggestions. Number one, Gmsa National, and by extension, regional, should focus on some very flagship programs. Programs that Gmsa National, or Gmsa in particular, will be identified with as very high-valued program. The sort of program every Gmsa member dreams of being a part of. Alhamdulillah, I've been doing some leadership conference. Maybe a bit of tweaking of this leadership conference can make it, or can give it that attraction, and that would make every member of Gmsa wanting to be part of it. And if they are part of it and there's a measurable outcome of a certain gain or benefit to the participants that has a long-term effect on their life, there is where you buy their commitment. Because a person has seen in his personal life how Gmsa has directly contributed to who he had become. That is how we begin to buy loyalty, and that is how we begin to buy commitment. So my suggestion is that this leadership conference that you're doing, don't make it open to everybody. Let's find a way.
Name, how many, what does he do, what kind of program he's studying. Can he give us this documentation? If he is saying that no, simply you go into Google. I'm not making a brand or promotion. Go into Gmail, create a sheet and send it to your platforms and tell them that write it with your email and send it to us. So you just let Google do it in an Excel form for you. When you create the platforms and the columns, it gives you all the details. You just put them in order with the name, with the program, with the age, with the university, anything. So at the end of the day, you are going to have a documentation of what you have. So this one is making noise that I should stop talking. But there is a plus and minus part. So just to finish my words, make Gmsa recordable is my note. It's said in the beginning. So they said that they wanted to see the ministers, and they said starting from 10 to 2, they had to sit. Okay, you sit. It shouldn't be like that. We should show our strength. That is what I'm trying to say. As Muslims, if we are strong, people will know that, okay, this group is strong. Muslims are so they are going to give us a chance to, and they will maybe try to make an appointment with us to sit. So that is us. First, we have to be aware of our own power, and let's make it a stronger one. So alumni, please, let's do our best. We can't wait to be an Andani. We can be ourselves and we can do our best. So Gmsa to be activated in all regions. Some regions just started, but you will be continuing. So let's do our best, as you say. So just in the name of Hudai and our projects here, we are trying to reach Muslim communities. We are having ISAR here for university students, having weekend courses in Islamic studies. So we are working with some doctors and also lecturers from different universities. We want to just, we are doing it freely. And we want to make promotion of this program, and we are not able to reach 20 people, 30 people. So why? We are saying that Gmsa can help us. When the message is sent, we don't hear from anybody. Because also giving a reaction is a responsibility. When somebody says Salamu Alaikum, you have to respond to him with a better way. Alaikum Salam wa Rahmatullah. The least one. Which means that when somebody sends you a message, at least give a reaction. When you are invited, you can't come maybe, but give your excuse. So make the communication continue. So within our place, we have Hudai ladies. We are doing Islamic studies for the girls. They are coming from all over. They are free. But when it comes to reaching, so Gmsa is also our partner there. They are doing camps and the others. So I know that we are going to do better. So as a brother to you, who has been here for 8 years, you know everything better than me. But I just want to show you or give you a third-party look to what Gmsa is. So we as Hudai care about Gmsa. But let's make Gmsa strong. Let's make the and then the roles, the Jama, you know, it says that it's the whole, so we come together and do the thing better. So I want to thank again one more time for the people who are here with us and listening to me. So sorry for my mistakes and then the things. So I'm seeking the refuge of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Assalamu alaikum.
So I would call on Alhaji Ibrahim Hamid to share with us. Yes, please. So this is a founding member of Gmsa. Please let's give him a round of applause. We are honored to have him in our midst. The purpose for which we are here today was birthed.
Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim Maliki Yawmiddin. Iyyaka na'budu wa iyyaka nasta'in. Ihdina siratal mustaqim, ihdina siratal mustaqim, ihdina siratal mustaqim. Siratal ladzina an'amta 'alaihim ghairil maghdubi 'alaihim waladdallin. It is not going to be a very long talk, because what matters so much is that I have to thank God Almighty for keeping me alive till this time. We are talking of 50 years. So many things have happened during that period. The 50 years we are talking of, if I added the age I had to that one, I will be talking of, more years. But if we are talking of 50 years that this Gmsa has been in existence, and I was lucky to be around to see it, and others who were together with me were not around to see the continuation, I seize that opportunity to thank God Almighty for giving me that very opportunity, or for borrowing me those years, the years that I had spent since the establishment of Gmsa, and going out, coming back, and still seeing the Gmsa as the way we are seeing it, but with a lot of optimism that things will go better. I will seize this opportunity to just quickly remember those who were together in 1972. You see, someone spoke about sectarianism and so on and so forth. Yes, those things were there. So we shouldn't allow those things to disturb us, because if we want to make progress, we should forget about those things. I will remember that during those days we have Alhaji Bashir Ukwa Swansea, we have Ibrahim Amate, even the chief imam was together with us during this process. I will remember very well that the late Major Isa was together with us. I will remember that Dr. Abdullah was with us of the University of Ghana. He was a student, then he became a doctor, and so on and so forth. I was able to live with those people. I was a senior member at the university at that time. But one thing that matters so much is that we have been talking about the shortcomings of Gmsa. Yeah, this is what happens when you don't try to get your own resources, when you rely on others to do things for you. You see, I'm here to tell you that I'm not talking on my behalf, I'm talking on behalf of the Al-Fatah Foundation, which was established just 6 weeks ago. You have heard of it, but the inauguration was just 6 weeks ago. We have a lot of plans to execute. We have so many things to do with the Gmsa, and I want to quickly recognize the cooperation that existed and continued to exist between the foundation and Gmsa. Because anytime there is something, I see them around. With all the difficulties they have, I see them around. I thank you very much, Gmsa, for, with all the shortcomings you have, you were able to make it to those occasions. But as we continue, there are so many areas that we can cooperate, we can work. When you talk of money, Somebody said here that tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow never comes because what we can do today is what we can do. As for tomorrow, when it comes, you are gone. So that is what it means. And another aspect that we should try to remember is that indeed, Allah will not change the condition of a people until they change what is in themselves. Quran told us this, and we should remember it very well. How could things change within ourselves? We cannot change ourselves. You see, commitment is the key word, commitment. If the number of students we have around, if we have committed ourselves to one man, one city, and we go around the country and we create a platform that everyone should contribute one cedi a day, then you are going to have 30 cedis a month. If you are going to contribute it for the whole year, you have 365. You have 365 for the whole year. So that being the case, we will have a lot of money. I will remember very well that the Red Cross in Addis Ababa, when they came out once, they said that they want to build some hospitals. What did they do? They went around the country. The government said the government has no money. What did they do? The government, the people themselves say that, okay, everyone will contribute one bill, which is just, let's say, 1 cedi or 2 cedis. They did that and built hospitals, a lot of institutions, and so on and so forth. So if we continue to rely on, well, we have some embassies, we have some Islamic institutions, we have all those, they have been helping, but let us do things from within ourselves. What we can give out, we give it out. Al-Fatah Foundation, for that matter, is ready to form that partnership with Gmsa in all aspects.
Allahu Akbar.
There are so many plans that we have put on paper, which we are going to execute very soon. Gmsa, we shall work together with you. We shall form that partnership with you. We shall have the memorandum of understanding with you on matters concerning Muslim students all over the country. This is not the time to tell you about all those things, but the fact that we are together here, those are the areas that we want to delve in. So by doing that, by saying that, let us pray together for the souls of those who have passed on. Let us pray for them, for God to grant them their rightful places in Firdaus, Jannatul Firdaus. And those of us who are still living, may God give us the strength and the will to execute a lot of ambitions that we have before us. And as we come out with our plans, we will be able to come to Gmsa to tell Gmsa that this is what we want to do together with you. I don't want to, the Zuhr is already called, and I don't want to leave that aspect of the prayer unattended, but as briefly as possible, I have my brother Yahya, Sheikh Yahya here, who is on the foundation with me. If he has the opportunity to talk, he will be able to say one or two things about our future plans. I thank you very much for this opportunity.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين كلا بل تحبون العاجلة وتذرون الآخرة وجوه يومئذ ناظرة إلى ربها ناظرة ووجوه يومئذ باسرة تظن أن يفعل بها فاقرة كلا إذا بلغت التراقي وقيل من راق وظن أنه الفراق والتفت الساق بالساق إلى ربك يومئذ المساق فلا صدق ولا صلى ولكن كذب وتولى ثم ذهب إلى أهله يتمطى أولى لك فأولى ثم أولى لك فأولى أيحسب الإنسان أن يترك سدى ألم يك نطفة من مني تمنى ثم كان علقة فخلق فسوى فجعل منه الزوجين الذكر والأنثى أليس ذلك بقادر على أن يحيي الموتى
الحمد لله ولي الصالحين ثم الصلاة والسلام على رسول الله وبعد. Indeed, I must start my interaction with the best of all salutations, the salutation of the people of Jannah, and that is Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Members of the Board of Patrons, the National Gmsa President and his executives, colleague members of Gmsa, all other protocols duly observed. Our association is one that, in spite of the numerous challenges we face on a daily basis, we are very proud of it, for it has left impactful and indelible marks in our lives, in shaping our character, in shaping our leadership abilities, and shaping our ability to engage with the Ummah of Islam. And that is one thing that we can be very proud of at all times, irrespective of the challenges that we face on a daily basis. We've come to understand that Gmsa is principally or primarily about uplifting the spiritual affairs of the Muslim students. And it has over the years been up to task in relation to that. And so when it comes to that, we don't find much of a problem. We don't suffer identity crisis in terms of what we exist for. However, the major challenge of Gmsa has to do with finances. Like all other presidents who have occupied the national office before, they will tell you the main issue or the main icing on the cake is about our ability to finance the operations of the association. And that resonates with all the other levels of the association. All of us encounter one or two financial challenges when it comes to the day-to-day administration of the association. Why so? It is principally because those who have been here before have not helped those who are there and possibly those who will come. The very moment, those of us who have taken this responsibility, like myself, and those who came before me, and those who will come after us, if all of us decide that henceforth Gmsa will no longer suffer financial constraints, we can do it together, inshallah. You know, business or an association like Gmsa is not a corporate or business entity. It's about a spiritual development organization. And when we decide to go into business, we can't do business as much as the business people. So our business is to ensure that those who identify with us commit their resources regularly in supporting our collective cause. So once that is done, we can be sure that at every point in time, we'll be having influx. Even if it is 10 cedis, 20 cedis on agreed intervals, it's going to be very significant in managing the affairs of Gmsa. We have tried, previous institutions have tried in terms of our ability or our attempt to deal with the issue of finance. We've tried venturing into businesses, and it hasn't worked. It hasn't worked because the model we run can better be sustained on sustainable charity donations. So I haven't left the scene. There were times that I had cause to believe that to seek for funds to manage the association is not the ideal thing. We should go into ways of, but when you look at other international models of organizations like we have, they survive mainly on charity, but sustainable charity networks they have built on teams, and then the meager resources flow in, and they are able to manage the resources accountably so that you engender trust and many more people will find reason to commit resources to our cause. And so it is after we gather our widow's mite and it becomes so plenty that we can run our annual activities and still have some budgets to spare, then we can diversify into things that can be bringing in to expand the scope of our kind of influence. So that way, but we can't start on a business model to sustain this association. Because we might have the capital to buy and sell, to do serious business. And the capital we have is the human resources of Gmsa. The past presidents like Dr. Abdurrahman, the past executives like our dear brother and distinguished scholar Sheikh Irbat Ibrahim, Mr. Habib, and the likes, Lawyer Shahadu, they are our capital. So what network have we built so that even if we are not there yet, we are regularly supporting the association one way or the other and demand accountability from those we make our donations to, so that together when we grow, and then assuming the annual budgets of needs of National Gmsa is say 100,000, and in a particular financial year we are able to accumulate up to 200,000, then we can think about that extra 100,000. What can we put it so that by the end of the year it will generate something, an additional envelope of income? So that, I think, is the way to go. We can't say it is bad to seek donations, but we must seek sustainable donations, such that you don't wait when you have program, you write letters to people to donate, and then after the next program you are writing letters again. It makes it so tiring to manage the affairs of the association. And I want to challenge myself, and then those who have been here before, and those who have been leaders as your respective institutions and regional levels. I know very few years from now, as you complete school, you get into one form of jobs or another, and then you go get into one business or another. In your daily activities, please add Gmsa to your plan, so that you commit something little And then if all of us are able to put our little together, it becomes something significant, and we can better manage our association. Because if you are dependent on partners, definitely they will sway you along their vision and mission, and it may not be in tandem with the vision and mission of Gmsa. I'll give an instance. During my era, we had this NGO on board. So you see that he purported to be given leadership capacity building seminars, and he was sponsoring it all across the regions. But in dealing closely with him, you notice that almost everything he preached during the lesson sessions is direct opposite of it when dealing with him. And possibly students will observe. So how do you build capacity with an attitude that is not in tandem with what you are preaching? أتأمرون الناس بالبر وتنسون أنفسكم أفلا تعقلون. You are engendering people, inviting people to do good, but you are forgetting of yourself. Are you not wise? Are you not mindful of the things you say? So that was the exact thing. How he managed, he would teach you how to manage anger, but he was one of the worst when it comes to anger management in dealing with. He would teach you all the virtues of leadership. When it became hardcore issues of leader, you find that so you see and you appreciate as a person that this person is not the ideal material to champion presentations, but he's the one coming with the resources. So you find that you can even go and see a hall like this. You see that you are sitting, food is provided, or one form of support or other is provided, and you see several banners being displayed and taken pictures of. So you know that certainly there's a business behind the veil of Islam, but there's little you can do, because if you know it's supposed to be good, but when you sack him, you can't independently be able to foot the resources that comes along with it. And so if we are able to mobilize at our level, our own funds, if Gmsa funds Gmsa, then it will be used to kind of organize only programs that identifies with the vision and mission of Gmsa, and will not give a veil to a businessman to do business with the Islamic veil. So I think these are some of the things, in my humble view, I think we need to pay attention to. So we shouldn't do as if donation and charity is something ugly. It's not ugly in the Holy Quran, and it should not be ugly even in our setup. Just that it should be done in a manner that doesn't expose our leaders. Our leaders who are currently running the affairs of the association, they should have the peace of mind to think deeply about things they can do to affect positively the lives of the people they are supposed to be managing, whilst there are structures in place to be able to deal with the fundraising activities of Gmsa. And I'm sure it was a principal reasoning behind our attempt to build this we refer to as the Gmsa Foundation. So as a corporate vehicle, when you even identify partners, you can potentially put proposals together and draw funds directly, so that you run the programs the way they are supposed to be run. But somebody uses your name, writes to a donor, pick funds, and then he does it how he likes. And you even notice that he doesn't have the capacity, but he knows that if he is to hire a resource person to put on the platform, he probably will have to share some of the monies with the person, and he doesn't want to share. So he wants to do everything so that he will not pay for service, everything. At the end of the day, you finish a program. I don't know if this thing is on record. Is it on? Are we still live? We are still live. Okay, so this one, I can't see it. So I can't say this one. So we will reserve that one for another time. So, but the most important thing is that let's, at least I'm appealing, or my knees appealing to our elders. I believe you can lead the way for us. We are all doing something little. I'm sure if there's a kind of leadership that say we should all be contributing our widow's mite to support the cause of the association, we will be doing. And even if we are 20 committed people and we have at least one program we are dedicated or we will be on standby to support Gmsa arrange on a yearly basis, they just need to produce the evidence of the impact and possibly a budget, and then that other layer would use their networks within the Gmsa community to draw funds and to support National Gmsa Runner. I think it will be quite, it's a sustainable way for us compared to the kind of one-off thing. You find one big philanthropist, and every time you are at the doors of the person, the chief and then today, chief and then tomorrow, the next day, chief and then, fatigue will set in. But I know there probably will be several other chief and danis, which the current person may not be networked to. So, but once we are together within our cycle of networks, possibly it should be easier for us to be able to at least help them deal with the financial needs of the assistant, especially when there are programs coming up. But what I've observed is that the business models so far haven't helped. We have ventured into farming, we didn't find good outcomes. We have ventured into, say, rearing of chicken, that one too. So what then do we do now? Possibly we should think about building a community of resilient donors who can consistently part some cash away towards the supporting Gmsa. And I want to believe, inshallah, it will work because it's working for other organizations like the Hudai we are so proud to mention. These are funded by individuals. It's not like they have a pool somewhere where they draw cash. It's individual members who are making commitments, and based on those commitments, they can do their things to spare some resources to support organizations like ours. And so we can do same, inshallah. May Allah give us a positive mindset to work towards some of these things, and then may Allah reward our effort or crown our efforts with success. Thank you very much,
President. I would move forward to invite Mr. Irbad to kindly take the podium.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. I engaged the immediate past National President of Gmsa, who just spoke, Mr. President Idris. And when you aggregate the speeches we have heard from this morning, you realize that as a group that is over half a century old, the days of lamentations should come to an end. The days of lamentations should come to an end. I think the time has come for us to pull together resources, both human and capital, so that we start doing concrete things that will solve the decades-old problems of Gmsa. All the time, people talk about lack of a proper database. Some time ago, I don't know whether it was with Mr. President Idris or another president, there were some Indians who came and we had a meeting here at the National Mosque. I don't know whether it was your time, Mr. President. And they said they would want to help build capacity so that in terms of having a strong database, the Muslim student community in India is quite an efficient one, even though they are dominated by the Hindus. And it was a lovely idea. But the problem with Gmsa, Habib was whispering to me. Habib was national secretary at some point. And the problem with Gmsa is that every new administration will come with its own bag of visions and missions and all that. And usually, those ideas fade away when that administration comes to an end. And it is even sad that if Mr. President Tamim and the organizing team would put all of us to a test, who even remembers the last 5 presidents of your institution or your region? So when you find current president have no idea who was the president of Greater Accra or Ashanti Regional Gmsa 5 years ago, then there's a problem. When you find the national presidents who cannot count up to the 10 previous presidents that came before them, it means there is an issue with continuity. And when you go around the senior high schools, and I'm happy to say that I've been given the mandate to help with security awareness by the authorities that be, because of the challenges we have in some of our senior high schools. And President Harris, the current Greater Accra Regional President, told me sometimes the agent provocateur and the victim are both Muslims. So when you look at Kimbu and other places where senior high school students have engaged in acts of assault and all that, you find out that the one perpetrating the act is an Ibrahim, and the victim is an Irbad. Like, it's the same thing, and we need to do a lot of work. So we've met with the patrons, and I believe as I carry out this national or regional mandate at this level, I would want to prioritize Gmsa, so that Gmsa gets the best of what we have on offer. Then the larger senior high school community would have the rest. So let's do a good job of keeping some institutional memory. Political parties operate on a certain model. We are not a political group, but al-hikmatu du'alatul mu'min, as it is attributed to the Holy Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Wherever you find people are well organized, they are well structured, it is not bid'ah to learn from them. Before you become a leader in a political party, they don't look at only your current capabilities, they look at institutional memory. They will ask you about the vision. Who are the founding fathers and mothers of Gmsa? And I'm happy our great-grandfather or our father is here to walk us through what has happened since 1972. How well do we know ourselves? It is very, very important. But if there is no database, it becomes difficult. And those of us who are out, no matter how hard you try as an alumnus, when you are done with that administration, whatever initiative you have fades away. I was at University of Ghana briefly, and I was one of the hall imams for Ekwafu Hall. So of course, I would start every initiative with my alma mater. So I spoke to a friend. I said, no, there are students who do photocopies for their lecture slides and all that, their handouts. So he gave me a multi-purpose machine, and then I gave it to Gmsa. And I gave a simple suggestion that if any Muslim, whether a lady or a guy, wanted to run any photocopies, it should be free. But Gmsa could charge half of what is charged on campus for non-Muslims. And this was a very basic business model. So the little money that would come would be used to run the Gmsa office. But go to University of Ghana and ask what has become of that multi-purpose machine. Maybe those I handed over to at that time. The one I even handed over to, we did the handing over in front of BAM Library. That was a big handing over, but it didn't last. The president at that time was from Nigeria, actually a Nigerian boy who had risen to become Gmsa president. So now if I go back and ask what has become of the multi-purpose printer, nobody can give me an update. So let's go beyond the lamentations. What can we do concretely as a people so that we can sorry waka and then make sure that the things other groups are doing, religious student bodies are doing, Gmsa will be able to do as well. And again, we've got Qatar Charity to give permanent internship opportunities for Gmsa, starting with University of Ghana students. And then currently we meet every Saturday at my modest residence, and Gmsa presidents from various institutions take part, including last Saturday, including this evening as well. So through that, we are connecting them to opportunities. But when you walk alone, you can walk fast. But when you work as a group, you can walk far. Please, can we quote this together? Say after me. When you walk alone, You can walk really fast. But when you walk together, you can walk far. So how do we bring together these individual efforts? But if it is an effort I'm making individually in a silo, and Dr. Abdurrahman is doing that with the medical Muslim community in a silo, another silo. These individual efforts that are sprinkled around will not give us the synergy we are looking for. So as an outcome of this stakeholder engagement, what can we do as alumni? I was discussing with Mr. President Tamim, what can we do? We don't need too many people. And I will borrow the wording of Mr. President Idris. He says we need a resilient community of donors. So if you say I should give maybe an X amount every month, it's a commitment between me and National Gmsa. So let's get such groups. If we are 10, let's start something. If we are 15, let's start something, so that eventually we can achieve the goals and objectives we would want to achieve. I can't talk much because I couldn't put my thoughts together. And through Coach Osman, inshallah, our next guest, last week I guessed at our Saturday sitting. It's a dinner, a small casual sitting at my modest residence. We do dinner and then we get someone to speak to us. Last week it was a deputy CEO of Free Zones Authority who came. He's a Muslim. Maybe Gmsa even doesn't know him. And so there are people like that who, if we are well organized, well structured, they can part ways monthly with money, starting with us. As Mr. Idris has said, they can part ways. You see, when somebody gives away money that doesn't affect him or her, the person doesn't feel it. But if you ask me to give you the money I use for cocoa and kose, then that will be a problem. But little bits and sprinkles, and I believe that if the people see us do something concrete, when we ask them for that 100,000, they will willingly give. Donating to Muslim organizations is like putting money into an abyss. It's an endless hole. They always ask you for more. And what hurts is that we don't have tangibles to show the donors. So today you've asked me to bring 1 cedi. I ask you, Malam, what did you do with the 1 cedi? And look at some of the madaris and masajid we have. They say, oh, we want to flow it and then do madrasa up there. It remains like that for 5 years, and every day people donate. So there is no donor confidence. And as a student body, let's build that confidence in people. So somebody can say, Gmsa President, come to my office. I'm giving you 100,000 cedis because I know that the money is going for something worthy. But if there is no transparency, former Gmsa President, you don't want to open the books. Current presidents also feel like, no, it is my turn. It's like a family, it's a hereditary, it's my turn. And you feel paranoid about your former president. And when former executives want to even come to give you expertise, knowledge, experience, you feel like they are too bossy. But that relationship needs to be there. So please, let's be transparent. I've been told that Mr. MC and everybody here, one of the problems we have is that, every Gmsa president may open an aperture of opportunity. And you would want to monopolize it even after you have left the office. So you get to know one donor, you want to monopolize that donor. But you should willingly hand over that donor to the next president. That so and so has been given this much every quarter or every 6 months or every year. Please, let me introduce you to him. That introduction is important. But when you gather all the files and gather the donors and put them under your armpit and take them home, how can Gmsa survive? How can Gmsa survive? During our time, Habib is here, that was when Hudai came on board. Hudai took the national executives to Turkey. That was the first trip to Turkey. And Hudai has never cut that umbilical cord. Hudai has been there continuously for it was during Habib's time. That opportunity came. So please, let's be transparent. That final word I would have for us as leaders of Gmsa is that let's be transparent and let's not sit on opportunities. Let's not sit on it should be rolled over. Introduce that person or that company or that NGO to the one who succeeds you. It is sad to hear that current executives want some information and outgoing executives are keeping that information close to their chest. What are you hiding? It is sad to hear that bank accounts are no longer official. People use their personal bank accounts to take donations. So if we do what others are doing and what other organizations are doing, then Gmsa cannot stand out as a Muslim organization that needs the sustainability we are all looking for. So those are my few thoughts at the moment, and we hope from here, what I want to have at the end of this session is that you are part of a group of 20 people, and every month Gmsa wants you to give this amount. And at the end of the day, every 3 months or every 6 months, Gmsa should meet us and give us an update of what our little monies, we are not rich people, our little monies have been used for. So that group that starts from 5 will go to 10, and in no time you'll have 100 people that will fit the definition Mr. President Idris says we need a community of resilient donors that are themselves coming out of Gmsa. Thank you, and Allah knows best. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Thank you very much, Mr. Ibrahim. So we'll call on next Sheikh Yaya. After Sheikh, we'll have Madam Ganiya to come next.
Alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalam ala man bu'itha rahmatan lil alamin. سيدنا محمد وعلى آله وصحابته أجمعين. أحييكم بتحية الإسلام. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Our respected chairman of this occasion, Gmsa President, the board chair of Al Fatah Foundation, the various Gmsa presidents of the various institutions, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's a great opportunity for all of us today to meet here, to reconnect, to share some experiences that we've all had with this wonderful organization that has prepared all of us and has contributed so much to our being and the various roles that we are all playing in our various institutions today. My respected speakers before, Al-Hajj Irbad Ibrahim, and before him the professor and the director of the institutional coordination in the Al-Hudai, they've spoken so much. And I believe that, inshallah, the secretariatship at putting in place some of these things, and before them, Dr. Abdul Rahman, they've spoken so much, all of them bringing up problems and solutions. And then I hope that, inshallah, we're going to come out here with a working plan to revitalize and to reconnect and to rekindle the spirit of Gmsa. My father and my Sheikh Ibrahim, has spoken about the Al Fatah Foundation and our readiness to partner Gmsa, something actually we've started with regional Gmsa last year. The regional president can bear witness to this, and as well as Sheikh Tamim was with us last year. We've started doing some programs. The Gmsa campaign, we've been with them, and inshallah, we are actually developing Gmsa Al Fatah Foundation project. Gmsa Al Fatah Foundation project. A project that we want to run for 3 years to sort of finance some very important projects in Gmsa, which will align with our own objectives and missions as a foundation, Al Fatah Foundation. Actually, inshallah, we'll be inviting Gmsa for a thorough discussion after a board meeting to actually roll out that plan with Gmsa, inshallah. So we may not be able to be very premature to bring out some of these projects now, but I'm sure what we have so far is to provide logistics for the learning of the Quran, to have, and also to have imamship training section where we train Gmsa imams, and also to look at scholarship for needy Gmsa, especially the girls, who we care so much about their well-being. And also every needy students in Gmsa will be looking at this, rural scholarships and imamship programs, and also to support other issues that may be affecting Gmsa. From my personal contribution to today's discussion, I think one of the very colossal calamity that can befall any young person in school is to be appointed as Gmsa president or Gmsa executive member. Imagine, respected ones, when you are to be given leadership position with a mandate without resources. You will need to be a genius to succeed. You are given a mandate, and to execute that mandate, you need resources, and there's no resources. You pick up somebody, young child, because he wants to serve. He said, become Gmsa national president. And as part and parcel of his duties, he has to ensure his presence wherever any Gmsa program is going on around the country. He has no car at his disposal. Even if he has a car, nobody is fueling him to go around. Our Gmsa president today, he has to delay his marriage because the money that he was preparing to marry, finally he was organizing a program and nobody was ready to finance. He used that money to finance the project, the program for Gmsa. Maybe these are some of the things you don't know, but I'm just, you should pardon me for bringing this out, but this is the reality many of them are facing even at the regional levels. So I think our discussion today, we need a serious revolution in Gmsa. See, the Ghana Muslim Student Association, that name is sounding in the minds of people that this is student business. Allow them to be doing their thing, it's student. In fact, it's very, very sad to enter a national program and to see this attendance. I don't know, is it a restricted invitation? It's open? The same resources. The same resources. So definitely one is not very enticing, but this is the problem. This is student matter. Anytime somebody sees Gmsa in the social media, this is Gmsa, it's student matter, and we are not students. So people sort of take themselves out. And next time I wish that we will have a meeting, like my brother said, Al-Haji Irbad. So when we are coming here, we are bringing out solutions to discuss the solutions among ourselves. Here shouldn't be a podium where we will be lamenting over our programs, our problems anymore. We'll bring out, this is what we want to do. We identify this, and this is the solution. What do you say about that? The various regional stakeholders will share the idea, then we'll bring out a working plan after the program. We announce it. This is a working plan. But if we are to raise problems here to sort of get solutions, it's not a very good way to go. So I think one of the things I was thinking in my head when I was coming here is that we even need to be thinking about changing the name Gmsa going forward. Even if not at the regional level, at the national level. We should be thinking about, I don't know whether we have Ghana Muslim youth, something that people will understand it beyond the campus. If people don't understand Gmsa beyond the campus, no matter how vibrant they were on campus, after leaving school, they said, Khalas, I'm done with the troubles, Khalas, Masalama. He removed everything and give it away. Because they have gone through a lot on campus. So now that they are out of campus, said, I'm not part of Gmsa anymore. Otherwise, you wouldn't have a Gmsa stakeholder meeting and you will see only students and some few immediate past executives. So we should be thinking about even resetting the name. We should be thinking about resetting the name, a name that could be involved in national discourse. But when it remains at the student level, it will always be at the student level. These are students, allow them. We should be thinking about a name, even at the national level, that will bring together every Ghanaian youth. So they know that as long as I remain a Ghanaian youth, I am part and parcel of this organization within campus and outside campus. I actually pray to Allah to bless all of us and to guide us to be able to revitalize this organization. What happened is that things are changing and evolving. There's so much transformation going on in the system. Politicians, even though we are not political, but if they come to realize the power that we have, that a Gmsa national is able to send a message across all the schools and people are able to come out in their numbers, wallahi, you wouldn't need to write to meet a politician. They'll be writing to meet a Gmsa president, and you will schedule an appointment for them. Because they know that you have about 1 million people under you. You have about 500,000 people under you. But do we have these statistics? The number of Gmsa members across all the universities. We need to have these statistics, publish it. These are our members. So that with a message, you are able to have people responding to all these issues. And Gmsa National should be able to respond to national issues from Islamic and Gmsa perspective. There are national issues going on and we don't respond to them. So nobody knows that we even exist. Any national issue, the Secretariat should be able to respond to it. And should be powerful. Should be able to organize press conferences to respond to national issues and then also presenting the voice of Gmsa. If we don't do this, nobody is going to pay attention to us. May Allah bless all of us. We're trying to share ideas that will benefit the organization. Whatever we have gone right is surely from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Whatever we have heard here in trying to share our opinions is from our own iniquities and intellectual incapacity. Pray to Allah to forgive us. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Madam Ganiyatu, please be invited.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Yeah, my president was supposed to be around here. Ghana Academy of Muslim Professionals.
Can I help?
Yeah. Due to some agent assignment, he asked me to step in. So from what I've also heard, all the distinguished resource persons have spoken already about the way forward. Yes, what I've also observed personally is that many of organizations, when there is participation, is a key issue with many organizations. And I also noticed that usually when there is a program, it's only the executives who are present. The members, largely it's only the executive. It's just as I was saying, it's the executive who are present. The members are always detach themselves. And the moment the current executive also end their term, they also stop attending programs after their term. So, and then just with our, with GAM, for instance, we've been talking about collaborating with Gmsa recently. We've been thinking about that, and then we've even started. We usually organize Ramadan lectures every year. During Ramadan, we go to communities. We used to be at a certain place, usually it's in Accra. We used to organize it. But when we realized that the participation issue was a problem, we decided to be moving into the communities. And Gmsa is one of the organizations we deal with. Last year, for instance, we were at the Ho Technical University, and then with the Gmsa there, we organized one of our lectures there. And then this year, we were at the University of Education, Winnipeg. We organized, and then the Kumasi Technical University. So for now, with the collaboration, we're thinking about the quiz competition for JHS and then SHS. So we want to collaborate with Gmsa regarding that, because we've been organizing it previously, but due to funding and all that, we have to suspend it. But then we are thinking of bringing it again, coming up with it again. So assist in the resources and some funding. Yeah, we'll assist in resources and some funding, like the quick masters and then some other stuff. So this is a little contribution I have for you. Assalamu alaikum.
Thank you very much, Madam Ganiyatu. We appreciate your recommendations and the support Ghana Association of Muslim Professionals will be providing as well. Okay. So I would like to invite Mr. Abubakar, Baraka Policy Institute. I don't know if he's here.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Alhamdulillah. A lot has been said here. And I was wondering how this can be practicalized. So I was thinking, when we came, there will be a speech or a problem highlighting for all of us to know. Then we'll go in the groups to be able to see what solution can we come for the problems we have identified. That become we owning what we have. Because if you bring in participation in whatever you do, you get results. Than giving the speech, talk, I've seen this, we can do this. No. As we are here, we could have grouped ourselves, 4 or 5 groups. Look at this team as a group. Look at this team as a group. Bring your findings, then we own it. So once we are thinking, one group say, no, we wanted to do this. That's what we're looking at. That's what I was thinking we'll do. But I think maybe going forward, we should look at it, the problem we have identified, group the executives, and then give them a theme to look at it and bring a solution. That will be more participatory than what we are doing in my small view. Again, I know this gathering brought executives from all regions, if I'm right. So in my small thinking, again, we could have made it zone. We have the national executives. Let few of them go to one zone. Listen to their issues. Another executive go to one zone, listen to their issue, bring it on board, then we'll solve it, or we'll make it, we'll put all the issues we have gathered to be able to save money. We are complaining of money. And I'm not going, everybody will get, if in and out is even 200 Ghana, we'll multiply by how many people are here. It's a huge money. That money could be used for something else in our project. We have mentioned here again of funding being a problem. Are we looking at any business model that a little money will get, will channel into it? So for example, again, are we looking at the southern sector? What model of business can you bring on board? The southern sector, what model of business can you bring on board? Then we'll channel, we'll give them some money to be able to start the project. And we can monitor, get some money from there that we can use to run our daily activities going forward. One interesting angle when Mr. President was speaking, he mentioned of they tried to go to the minister, sat there for a very long time and what have you. And I was also thinking, do we also look at what you call lobbying skills? Do you have people that we use as our lobbyists? Because in where we find ourselves, the country we find ourselves, if we don't have a proper way of lobbying, our issues are not solved. And so by thinking of going to see a minister of education at Gmsa, do we look around those who can do a proper lobbying for us? Because where he is, he has some people that when you look up to and come to speak to him, he will listen to. I'm not saying that Gmsa cannot lead their own issues, but we have Petron, we have our lawyer here, who has another group of people that they can put together and lobby through and get what we want. So I think we also need to look at how we lobby or how we go about things to get what we want. It is not about using our power, we want to do the money. It's about quite doing things nobody knows and you get what you want. Again, our lawyer is here. If I'm wrong, you should help me here. I think we need to look at the Constitution and restructure the Constitution again to suit the current situations. I looked at how election or executives or president is elected in Gmsa, which I think, if it's working those days, this time around, I think we should look at it. Let me use that word. Because I saw it that it should be rotating. When you go to south, for a while, you come to the north. I don't know whether I'm right, the southern sector and the northern sector approach. I think we need to look at the best brain. Who can lead? Who are the leaders who can lead? Not necessarily the northern or the southern. If the person is in the northern sector and he has the best brain to be able to put together and work for us, we need to look at that, not necessarily rotating. Because when you do that, everybody will sit up and put things in order to be able to get what we want. But if we relax that, okay, one day to come to the northern sector, let me wait, and when you get there, I can go and struggle for it. Excuse me, say, even those there, maybe at that moment, the best brain at that moment could be come from the South. So we need to look at the restructuring of the Constitution and how we position who to lead us. I think there's a little I can say here. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Your suggestions, and we would add that as well. So I just would like to also clear the air that we have a rapporteur for the event, and so every suggestion, every comment and word that is being shared is captured and would go into the report of the rapporteur. We have the last speaker. We have our brother Mohammed Bashir Habib, whom we invite to share his suggestions.
Alhamdulillah, mu'izzu man ata'a amruhu wattaqa wa mudillu man ata'a amruhu wa asa wa subhanallah ala marru ni'ami wa marru al-balwa ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wahdahu la sharika lah wa ashhadu anna muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluh. Amma ba'd. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. I'm Mohammed Bashir Habib, former National Secretary 2010 to 2012. Because the time is limited, I just want to pick some few things I've heard from the speakers, and I believe at the right time we'll have a better forum to discuss about our way forward. I picked something from the purpose of this particular gathering that has to do with reconnect with the past and the present leadership, review the state of the association, identify structural, functional, and operational gaps, discuss sustainable solutions, strengthen unity, and shared ownership. As a former executive who was privileged to be part of the association, I believe that these are some of the most important things every group of leadership of Gmsa should be concerned themselves with. It's very important to appreciate that you have past and the present. The connection in between the two will give you institutional memory. You get to know where you came from and where you are going. And so it's important. I think the last one of the speakers spoke about having a data of the past leadership, because that should be the foundation of reconnecting. What I've come to observe is that because most of us get into the association mostly from infant, let me put it that way, sometime from senior high school to university. So at the time that you finish serving, you have to face the reality of life. Sometimes either furthering academics or even job issues. And so that period sometimes detach you from the association, mostly not for your making, but because you need to survive. And the association doesn't also have a policy that will always bring people back within those periods. So for instance, it was my term as a general secretary that we had our current ambassador for Turkey to be interested in the association. We had a lot of programs with him. It was that period that we made sure every regional executive had the opportunity to travel to Turkey, at least to be able to associate with other student bodies and other organizations to learn something. That group of leadership, after handing over, virtually nobody is part of the kind of the arrangement of the association currently. And so you could see the disconnect. And one other thing I also observe, maybe our leaders will forgive me, I think our attitude is also part. When you serve Gmsa, the experience you gain, most often, instead of us bringing it back to benefit the association, we tend to form another groups. Then be doing the very thing that Gmsa was doing. So, for instance, anytime the issue of freezing compulsory, what do you call it? That system that they prevent our sisters and brothers from kind of push them to attend to church service and stuff. So you realize that the disconnect in discussing that issue alone sets us for failure. This is a mandate of Gmsa. So instead of having other groups come to support Gmsa to fight it, every single group wants to take up the matter himself. So these people will be saying this, other people will be saying this. At the end of the day, you don't have a central solution to the problem, and it dies off. From Gmsa, we have had groups like COMOC. From Gmsa, we have had groups like Muslim professionals, several of them. These are people who were trained from Gmsa, who have become somebody in Gmsa, but we want to take away that glory, form our own grouping, and be doing the very thing that Gmsa is formed to do. The association, at least, in order to make sure even after school you can be active, it provides some window that 3 years even after school, you are still a member of the association. I don't know if it is still in the constitution, but as far as I know, 3 years even after completion, you are still a member of Gmsa. You could still vie for position and be able to help. Maybe we should look at extending that period so that we can accommodate people who are out of school and are still relevant to the forward march of the Gmsa. I don't want to talk much. A lot has been said from our brothers, but I think that as Muslims, we need to have a purpose. The groupings have been one of our headache. I have fought it when I was General Secretary, especially from Ashanti region. A brother will bear me out, Muslim professional. They go to the secondary school to do the very thing that we do. COMOG is there, and all other groups. We are not saying it's bad, but at least the focus should be given to Gmsa. Where Gmsa is supposed to play a role, let's not take that role from the association. Assalamu alaikum.
وإذا رأوهم قالوا إن هؤلاء لضالون وما أرسلوا عليهم حافظين فاليوم الذين آمنوا من الكفار يضحكون على الأرائك ينظرون هل ثوب الكفار ما كانوا يفعلون.
Prezo, please, you are humbly invited to take the stage and give us an account of what we have been able to put together today. Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh. Thank you so much. It's been a long day. And then, like everyone said from our elders, it shouldn't just be talk and leave. It should be talk and do. So inshallah, before I read a summary of all we've said today, I would like to mention one presentation on behalf of one of our revered patrons who couldn't come, but then sent me his way forward. And then in the way forward, he said that it is going to be beautiful as Gmsa to restructure and then reunite and then make it prosperous. And then he said he's proposing that we adopt the structure of the national mosques, that is the executive council, the management committee, and also the administration. He said with the executive council, members are to meet, the board of patron would meet and carefully select people that can represent Gmsa when it comes to putting together resources. And then with the management committee, there would be people who would supervise, manage, control, and then influence the decision of Gmsa. And then with the administration, they would serve as the student body who serve in their various capacities as Gmsa leaders. He also added that it is going to be beautiful to admit the current challenges Gmsa is facing, notwithstanding the challenge of financial constraints, which is predominantly the biggest headache of Gmsa. So he is entreating all members here, all leaders here, that we should come together to accept this structure of the executive council, then the management committee, and then the administration. So from what he just said, I'm going to summarize it per my understanding. We are going to have a team that would serve as financiers of Gmsa, with an agreement of everyone who sits here, with an agreement of NEC, with an agreement of Congress, that we should have these people who serve as financiers of Gmsa. But then they can't throw in their money just in a pit without looking into the pit to see where the money has gotten to. They would definitely have to trace how the money was spent. Now, they move down to a management committee level. We have very passionate alumni, we have very passionate stakeholders who are very interested in the matters of Gmsa. Now, they come together and carefully select people who would represent Gmsa at the management level. Now, this is what they do. They make sure they have access to your bank account, they have access to whatever activities you are going to do, and they have access to connect you with, the bigger team. Like the challenges you are facing now. If we had Brother Irvad, Dr. Marzouk Sheikh Yahya, lawyer, to be our board member, our management committee members. We want to meet Haruna. We don't have to write to lawyer Haruna. We just tell the management committee, we would like to meet the Minister for Education to discuss 1, 2, 3. Now with their network and their level of influence, they are able to get these persons together. So the person is not dealing directly with the student body, the person is dealing with dignified individuals of the society. Now, these individuals now schedule the time, or they get the appointment. Now they take the administrative level, that's the NEC. They take NEC with them, they go to meet the minister. Whatever the outcome is, even if NEC leaves office, they would hold or they would update the next NEC coming that, well, this is the agreement we had with the Peace Council, with the minister, with this person, and then we would like you to make a follow-up on that. They can even, with their influence, direct you to the person's office to continue with whatever conversation they started. I remember Brother Irwad saying he connected some Indians during Mr. Idris' time, and then what happened? Policy continuity, there is discontinuity in policy. New person comes, maybe there is no update or there is no connection, and that is it, right? Now, Mr. Irbad, for instance, if he is part of the management committee board, what he does is that, okay, there were these Indians I connected with the next president, but he's leaving. So you guys, the interim president and his team, come on board, let's introduce you to these particular people. So I don't just go with my influence, my network, but then we lay it over to the next administration. And I think it's very beautiful. If Gmsa could also look at these steps, and then the person is Chief Alasan Andani of Stanbic Bank. He even gave an example that his organization, they are willing to give Gmsa an amount of even 100,000 annually. But then where does the money goes to? That is the question. Who is managing the money? Can he trust the students that comes to manage the money? And at the end of everything, when they come back to them, telling them that, oh, those that handed over to us, there is nothing in the account. So is it that we finance you to spend it before leaving office, or we finance you to do what you are supposed to do, leave what you can do for the rest to come and continue? So this is the problem. So I think if we look at this carefully, building up an independent management committee to look into the affairs of Gmsa, the finances, the influence, the network, this is very important. We will get it right. So now if they pay dues, it goes to our account. Now the president, for instance, myself, I don't just sign a check and I go to bank it out. I sign a check, the management committee chair or head also signs. Now whatever expenditure we do as national executive, it is approved and backed by the management. And this management would serve as a check and control for the national office. And I think with this, we can eliminate a lot of gaps at our national executive committee or level. My experience, just shortly, my experience at the national executive committee is that there is a lot of gap, there is a lot of gap when it comes to our finances. In fact, no one knew how this program came about, and no one knows what is involved in it and how you are doing it. What happens is we just come, listen, and go, which is very bad. In fact, if we have a management committee, they would make sure, okay, President, the budget you brought for this program, I don't think is important. Let's channel that money to a different program which will have more impact on our members than this one. Then with that, you see, there are some checks on it. But then I just get up, I organize a program with my committee, with my members. Today we are doing Gmsa Forum. The next moment we are doing pre-Ramadan lecture. The next moment we are doing leadership conference. Where is the check? Where is the impact? Where are we heading to? There is no strategic plan. But then, and we can't do it. In fact, that's that someone would ask, President, then do that. You can't do it because you are limited. But then if we have people who can be questioned, for instance, maybe we can question Sheikh Yahya. Sheikh Yahya, you are part of the management team. Gmsa, they are doing these activities for the year. What's your take on it? Oh, we've discussed it and then we've agreed that this program is not important. It shouldn't be part of the national program. The institutions are doing a lot of programs. National, we are just doing same programs you are doing, which we could have channeled our energy in national progress than just organizing forums, organizing stakeholder, conferences, seminars that has, in fact, no impact. When you ask me, I have to be honest with you. When you ask me that, President, the pre-Ramadan lecture you did beginning of this year, what's the way forward? What did you put together? I have nothing to show. And it's not because of my incompetence. It is because of the structure we've met. But if there is a management, we have to report to. After this conference, this is the report. The money you give us to spend, this is the report. These are the receipts backing each expenditure we make. I'm sure we are going to have what we want to have in future. Thank you so much. So a summary of what we had today, the way forward. 1, strengthening financial sustainability. And 2, enhancing participation and member engagement. 3, governance, structure, and institutional continuity. 4, capacity development and leadership empowerment. 5, collaboration, transparency, and accountability. 6, visibility and national relevance. So this is the summary of what we've decided on today. But then I'm not happy. I'm actually not happy because I'm reading this as a talk. What's the show? There's no action. And I'll not be happy, in fact, if we leave here without putting what we want together or what we've agreed on together. So in fact, when he sent it to me to come and read the way forward, I didn't understand what to say because it doesn't add up to me. It's just something that I can sit in my room, write, and come and present. But that is not it. So what is next? So I'm challenging our elders to come up with a roadmap now, we have just few minutes to go. If there is a time we could sit again, or there is a time with us, then we can communicate with our members, because they are coming from far, they would want to leave now. So you should give us a roadmap from here so that we can take it up. Thank you so much. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Hafiz TV, unique every day.